In this video, we're going to show you how you set up audio playback on different systems inside of Vertex. So each system we have connected in our session, for example, here my master, has audio devices. As you can see, we have multiple audio devices per system. One is what we call the standard audio device. You can think of this as your regular 3.5mm jack. And we have an ASIO device, which we use for playing back synchronized audio. So the standard audio device is really just used mostly in preview. This is what you can see here. The standard audio mode is used for preview. You could also go ahead and change this to live, but keep in mind you will not have proper synchronization if you use a standard audio device and play back, for example, long audio files. Things will not be sync. When it comes to sync playback, it makes a lot of sense to use an ASIO-enabled device. For example, on my system, I have a bunch of different sound cards which I have available. And for this video, we'll go with the Dante virtual sound card. I can simply click on it and you can see here it will automatically detect how many input and output channels the card has, as well as my sample rate and the buffering. It's important to know that these settings are taken from the audio driver. So if you want to change the amount of in or output channels in your audio setup, you have to do this in the audio driver, not inside of Vertex. Really, Vertex just takes what the audio driver offers it. Now we have the system set up with its ASIO mode to live. So this will go out as a live signal. And now the question is, how do we route the audio from our content composition to the systems? This, as is done for video, is done with a canvas. As you may remember, the canvas is pretty much your content compositing space where you put in all of your content, but it's also where you can assign an audio system. So we can see here, this canvas has an audio system, which is system 1. And if I go into my system tree, you see this is my master. This canvas would actually now play out its audio on my master. But I can also go ahead and grab another system in here, drag and drop it over here. So I have system 2 as an audio system. And then when I select system 2, I see this is my Razer notebook. This has a bunch of different settings. I only have a Blackmagic ASIO output driver here, so I could use that now for a live system. So this is the important part of how you assign audio outputs. You really have to assign the correct system in your canvas. So if I go to my system number 1 again, put it here. And in the system, you have to go ahead and select the correct audio output device you're going to be working with. What's also important to know that depending on your audio setup and the amount of buffering you have, you may need to enter an audio offset. So to compensate for some delay, which may be happening in your signal chain. To do this, you can do this in multiple spots. You can go ahead, go to advanced, then click on your system you're working with. So we go to my system number 1. And then I'll click on audio, and here you can see we have an audio offset. So here you can do a global audio offset in milliseconds, as well as a global volume control for the complete system, which does its audio playback. And last but not least, you can of course do this for a playback as well. So if I go to my playback mixing engines, to my PME1, my live, I have a sequence here. I can click on my sequence, and as you can see here, I also have an audio mix level here, which I can now use to control the audio of an individual sequence. So you can control the audio levels globally per sequence or per clip container. And of course, you could use this exactly the same way as you would use anything in our control view. You can go ahead, say add control, say I want a slider, and then in this slider, I'm just going to go right click on my clip container, or just let me do this a bit differently. Put it over here, grab my slider, say pin to new inspector, it will pop up, I can put it over here. So now I have my source property here. So I can click on my playback. Here I have my audio mix level, drag and drop it into the source property, and I'm now able to control the audio level of my playback by simply using a slider in a control view, which I can then of course also route to a web view to do this control in a web browser. Hope you enjoy and have fun using audio inside of Vertex.